In the heart of Africa, at its precise geographic center, say Sudanese, the Mandari people raise their cattle. These white bulls are the wealth of the tribe and the identity and pride of its men. The killing or theft of just one is a financial and personal blow that necessitates revenge.
I'm
ready to die defending my cattle because they're my life. My children grow because of them, and we use them for our dowry in marriage. If they were taken away, how could we survive?
Mandari youth say they used to have guns to defend their herd. Now they've got arrows and spears, following a massive campaign to disarm tribes by the government of southern Sudan. And they fear their families will end up here, heads shaved in mourning, sitting in town. The Mandari of Tombek lost most their men and all their cattle in a raid by heavily armed youth from neighboring tribes.
Our husbands were killed by the Dinka. All the women here lost their husbands, all of them. Even our children, many were also killed, and our village was burned. We're just stranded here sitting now. We don't know how we can move forward again.
Deprived of their cows and farms, Regina and her family have nothing to feed their children but leaves they gather and the stems of trees. Signs of hunger are appearing. Their elders and chiefs are angry with the government.
The Dinka raid us because they think they are very important with their officers and their soldiers and their guns. The Dinka control the government. That's why we were disarmed while they were not. Now they raid us all the time, and we have nothing to defend ourselves.
Disarmament is taking place across southern Sudan, but it's being done slowly and unevenly by a nascent state that isn't ready to fill the security vacuum being left in its wake.
Tribal fighting in the south is now a deadlier conflict than Darfur. In the last year, over 2,500 people were killed and 350,000 displaced from their homes. Here on the tribal border between Dinka and Mandari, incidents now happen almost daily. But to keep their farms and feed their kids, people have no choice but to remain vulnerable in their villages. For decades, cut off from the world by war, now they'll be cut off by rain, unreachable and unprotected for a 5-month wet season. The few dirt roads have already begun to disappear. May Welsh, Al Jazeera, Terekeka County, southern Sudan.
Well, earlier I spoke to Jan Matthew, spokesman for Sudan's People's Liberation Movement. He told me what the government is doing to deal with tribal tensions.
Now there is a strategy of putting about police stations all around in this area, especially the bordering states in southern Sudan. And, you know, as a new government, it has not been very easy, especially that there are hens also in Khartoum. The disarmament has been made more than once, thrice I guess, but the very strange thing is that we still do find new weapons in the hands of the civilians. There is a strategy in Khartoum, and we have our own strategy of protecting actually the civilian. But once the referendum is at hand, then we would expect so many things to happen, yet this should not stop us from going ahead with a strategy. There are some disorders in the very area for the reasons I have just mentioned, yet things are still under control. These are all cattle herders and raiders in this area. They do depend mainly on the cattle raiders. Generally, when there are such problems, then you would expect that people might go hungrily. But the UN, the government are doing their efforts. And I was there some few days ago actually for further investigation. And I believe the government is doing a lot actually to stabilize the situation.